Hey y'all, and welcome back to Mama's Got Something to Say, episode 9. Um, episode 9 is officially not for the faint of heart, okay? This is Confessions After Dark. I went over to Facebook earlier this week and I asked some of our listeners to send in some of their anonymous confessions. And let me just say, y'all need supervision, okay? These stories include wild prom flashbacks, Everclear-fueled stage moments, fake military lies and cheating scandals, financial manipulation in relationships, dating disasters, sobriety awkwardness, affairs, health confessions, and decisions that absolutely should have stayed in the group chat. Now, I will put a disclaimer. There are mentions of domestic abuse, HIV, infidelity, so consider this your disclaimer, okay? Listen at your own risk. And just to be clear, I will not be covering your therapy bill after this episode, so if you come in the comments acting brand new, exit stage left, please, because I'm not the 1, the 2, the 3. You got the right one with me, okay? All right. Now, I'm going to start off with one from the head. Now, this did not happen to me, but said person was with me. So, let me take you back. Circa 2010, 2011, maybe. Somewhere in that area. I had gotten a phone call that this particular person, she's female, had fallen asleep at the bar and got kicked out. So I got in my car and I drove all the way to that bar to go get her. I went inside, showed the cop my ID. She was nowhere to be found. So finally I'm like, I'm frustrated, and I'm like, where the hell is she? And the bartender finally said, oh, she got kicked out. She's outside somewhere. So then I find her in this, there's like a pillar and then there's some stairs behind it, but you can't really see it. So I found her and a guy behind there, and he's like trying to comfort her and stuff like that. And he's like, oh no, I've got her. And they're both piss drunk, okay? And I'm like, no. And I just bought this brand new car, and so I ended up putting her in the back of it, and the guy was like, are you sure I can take her? And I'm like, yeah, fuck off. Absolutely not. So I took her and put her in the back seat of my car, and she starts kicking my doors and punching my windows, and now this is a brand new car. So I ended up slamming on brakes. She didn't have her seatbelt on. I slammed on brakes, and she falls into the floorboard, and I basically told her she needs to get her fucking shit together. I'm going to beat the hell out of her. So finally, I got her to pass out in the back seat. Now, at the time, I worked at Domino's. And I pulled up to the back door of Domino's, and she wakes up, she gets out of the car, and she makes her way through the back of Domino's all the way to the front and sits down in the waiting area. All right? Sits down, and I'm like, hey, what the hell are you doing? We need to go home. And she's like, I am home. No, she was not home. So then I proceeded to teach her a lesson when we finally got home. And I took her phone, I took her keys, and I took her wallet, and I hid them from her. And the next day, she was out of cigarettes, and she was not happy. But then finally, I ended up giving them back to her, and she was still not happy with me. So, but that was the last time that I ever had to do that for her. So, that's a fun little confession. Now, I have got to pull up Facebook because that is where I asked my people. Let's do this one. Now, this is from a man. He messaged me, and I'm like, the other day I was scrolling on Facebook, and I get this message, and I'm like, why the hell is he messaging me? And then I looked and I saw the story, and then I've forgotten that I'd asked. I was like, why the hell is he telling me this? And I was like, oh, the podcast. I totally forgot. All right, so here's his little, I guess it's like a failed dating thing, or worst date. All right, it says, started talking to a young lady over the summer who was in recovery, 4 years sober from alcohol. Planned the first date and everything to an upscale coffee shop slash coffee bar type place. She acted real hesitant to commit to a date. She finally committed, and during the date, she brought it back up. I just need to get something off my chest. I feel like this is so low effort and bare minimum. Scheduling a coffee date as a first date? I said, well, I've never dated someone who was sober and in recovery, so I thought maybe Mexican and margs needed to be off the table. Major eye roll, finished the coffee / app, and paid the bill, and never talked to her again after that day. I have a little bit more, but these are, let's see. He's broken up with a girl because she wanted to be a surrogate and later did. One girl I dated told me she had a girls' softball team lesbian phase in college for 4 years. Hey, I'm not one to judge. Hell yeah, sister. One girl asked on the first date before the entree what size house we needed to buy with our combined kids. What the hell? Also, if you hear like noises in the back of like dogs coughing and stuff, I can't get away from my Velcro kids, okay? This is Confessions After Dark, but it is 1:38 in the afternoon, all right? And my Velcro kids won't leave me alone. All right, well, we appreciate that, anonymous person. Let's go. Oh, let's go here. This one's good. This is probably one of my favorite ones. All right. So she says, around the age of 1920, we used to go to McKinney's Pond when the Swinging Medallions played. Cops were on site, but no one was ever carded. $10 at the door and BYOB. The one and only white girl song about brown eyes was being sung. The band says for all the brown-eyed girls get on stage. Keep in mind, it was definitely an Everclear night. I'm on stage having the time of my life. Daisy Dukes, Air Max, Nike Air Max, and a cute little crop top. Band is ready for a break when the song ends and they make an announcement. If you're not naked, you gotta get off my stage. The shirt comes off. I started on my Daisy Dukes, and then my bestie literally grabs my legs and hoisted me over her shoulder and carried me right on out the door. But if you thought that was the only time the Swing of Medallions ever seen the innocent flesh under my top, you'd be dead wrong. Rewind to my senior year of high school and let me set the stage. Our prom was at Sacred Heart, and we hired the Swinging Medallions because we were 100% badass for having a band play at our prom. Now I'm an only child, and I wanted a one-of-a-kind prom dress. I designed it and had it made by a local seamstress. It was gorgeous, fully beaded in sequined purple gown with a slit high up the thigh, a beautiful silver sequin overlay on the chest, and the strap was a halter top with just a hook and eye holding that heavy gown on me. I'm 1000% rocking this dress because back then I had the good curves. Girl, you still got the good curves. What you talking about? Well, boyfriend's bestie and I were doing the bump all the way to the ground, front and center of the band. When I got as low as I could go to that high, that hook and said goodbye to that eye, and that gorgeous, fully beaded heavy gown dropped to the floor. I was standing in front of the Swinging Medallions and my entire senior class in a bustier and a purple thong. But hey, at least you could bounce a quarter off my ass back then. It was a true asset. Honey, you is wild. So wild. All right. The next one, let's see. Okay. I don't think y'all are ready for this one. Well, I had an ex girlfriend that lied about being a Marine and actually stole her ex husband's fatigues to try to pass it off that she was. She also lied about having breast cancer and said her ex girlfriend would take her to chemo and radiation. But said ex girlfriend hated me, so I had to park my car in my own backyard. She didn't know I lived there. So she didn't know I lived there. We went and saw the movie American Sniper, and she had a bad nightmare from PTSD from the war and tried to me in my sleep and claimed she didn't know what was happening. And when she put PTSD, it's PTSD because, she lied about being a Marine. She didn't know what was happening. We got engaged and had a fight one night, and I threw the ring that I had gotten, one that I paid for actually, and threw it somewhere in the yard. And apparently she found it after I was freaking out trying to find it when we made up. And she kept it from me the entire time until after we broke up because I didn't deserve it back. There's more. Long story short, she was definitely cheating on me with whoever would take her, and I caught her in my bed with a girl that lived like 4 hours away that she'd invited to come have sex with her in my bed that I paid for. I'd come home from work and she'd take all the tips I made from the night, so I started having to hide my money so I could buy things for myself. Now, I can say that is a true story. Okay, me and this girl were hanging out when they were together, and I used to get like really weird vibes from this chick that she was dating, the Marine. But she would just talk so much about it that a part of me just kind of knew it was bullshit, but I had to be nice to her because she was my friend's girlfriend. So anyways, I do remember I was in Maryland, and I flew back home for a day so I could come celebrate her birthday. I do remember that. My friend that submitted, not her weird ex-girlfriend. Okay, we have got one more, and this one is going to be XXXXXXX rated. Okay, so if you don't want to hear about that stuff, just cut me off now. All right. I tell everyone I've never eaten ass, but I did eat this one fine ass guy's ass. It was fresh out the shower, but I did it. I also caught a from the weatherman. The Coca-Cola man in the back room of while I was on the clock, and I'm pretty sure you were my lookout. I was not your lookout, but I do remember this story. You did this before I started where we worked. And then last but not least, they also shoved a whole corn cob up their ass. So there you have it, folks. Those are the people that I am friends with. Those are the people that I am acquainted with. Confessions After Dark with Nicole Henry. On Mama's Got Something to Say. Also, it is very important, male and female, please make it a regular thing. If you were single, if you were having an affair, if, whatever, please go get yourself checked. It is so important for you to get yourself checked. So, with that, I'm going to sign off, and I'll see you next week. I love you.